Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about turning those big, complex ideas into guides that you can actually use. So let me ask you something. Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a project, something you were genuinely proud of, only to release it out into the world and hear crickets? Yeah, it's a deeply frustrating feeling, and it happens all the time. But here's the thing. What if the problem isn't your idea? What if the quality is perfectly fine? The real culprit, the thing that sinks so many great projects, is this invisible force we're calling reader disinterest. Most people, most of the time, just aren't looking for what you're offering.
There's actually a pretty brilliant little formula for this. Think of it as y equals a times x. Y is how valuable people think your content is. X is the actual quality of your content. But A is the reader's interest. And here's the kicker. If that interest level, A, is 0, well, it doesn't matter how amazing your work is. The perceived value is still going to be 0.
So how do we solve for A? You have to stop thinking like a writer and you have to start thinking like an architect. In this explainer, we're going to walk through that exact shift. We'll look at the architect's problem, and then we'll break down a unified strategy built on 3 essential keys: finding your event-driven topic, building a cultivated relationship, and designing an activation strategy. All right, let's dive right into our first key, the event-driven topic. This is all about answering the reader's most important and usually unspoken question: why should I care about this right now? It's about connecting your idea to something that's already happening in their world. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Information by itself is just trivia. It's noise. But the moment you connect that information to a real event, something people are trying to figure out, it transforms. It becomes essential. So what kinds of events are we talking about here? Well, they tend to fall into 5 main buckets. You've got things like a current event or a broader cultural shift. It could be a personal transitional period someone's going through, a really common scenario they face, or even a completely unexpected circumstance that's thrown them for a loop. Each one creates an urgent need for answers. And choosing your event is a huge deal because it also decides the battlefield. Are you in the front list race, a mad dash for relevance against all the other new, timely stuff? Or are you joining the backlist dialogue, where you're competing with the classics and you need a truly fresh angle to get noticed? Okay, on to our second key, the cultivated relationship. Once you know why they should care now, you have to define who you are to them. This is about the unspoken social contract between you and your audience. It's intentional. You've basically got 5 hats you can wear here. You can be the expert, building on your reputation. You can be the friend, connecting through your personality. The artist, wowing them with your style. The advocate, championing a specific subject. Or you can be the movement starter, rallying people around a new viewpoint. And what's really fascinating is how choosing one of these roles completely changes your writing, even if the topic is exactly the same. Let's use remote work as a perfect example. First up, the expert. This voice is all about data, research, facts. Their whole promise to the reader is credibility. Here's the objective truth. The friend, though, totally different vibe. They lead with vulnerability, with personal stories. Their promise is connection and authenticity. I get it. I've been there too. Then you have the artist. For them, it's all about the craft, the beauty of the language. They use these incredible, evocative descriptions. Their promise isn't just information, it's an aesthetic experience. Now, the advocate actually steps back a bit. They make something else the hero of the story: a company, a system, an idea they really believe in. They are its champion. And finally, the movement starter. This is a call to arms. They create an us versus them energy to shake things up and get people to act. Their promise is change. So that brings us to our third and final key, the activation strategy. You've got your why now, you've got your who are you. The last piece of this puzzle is engineering your idea to actually spread on its own, to cut through all that disinterest. Now, this strategy here feels a little backward, but it's incredibly powerful. You don't aim for the mainstream right away. Instead, you find a small, passionate group on the edges, the periphery. You get them excited, and their energy is what eventually pulls in the core audience. And to activate that group, you've got 5 main tools in your toolbox. You can spark conflict and become a lightning rod for a debate people can't help but join. You can foster cooperation, creating a puzzle that the community has to solve together. You can offer transformation, giving people a new identity that becomes a kind of social currency. You can tap into an existing community, learning its language and joining a conversation that's already happening. Or you can aim for emotional resonance, creating an experience so powerful people just have to share it. Okay, so this is where it all comes together in the unified strategy. The real magic, the work of a true architect, isn't just picking one of these keys. It's about getting all three to work in perfect harmony. An architect aligns the who, their relationship with the audience, with the why, the reader's urgent, event-driven need, and finally with the how, the way the idea is built to spread. They all lock together into one incredibly powerful plan. When you mastered these three dimensions, the world of the reader, your role as the author, and the social life of the idea, that's when you make the leap. That's how you stop being just a writer, and you become an architect of impact. I mean, think about that, because at the end of the day, that's the real goal, isn't it? Not just to finish your work, but to start a conversation that grows and evolves and takes on a life of its very own. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. We really hope this gives you some new tools for your toolbox, and we'll just leave you without final thought to chew on.